And we are live with another episode of Geekly Reveal. It's that show that brings you geeky news on a weekly basis. That's, you know, geeky, weekly, geekly. That's how it goes. And, it's been a hell of a week, but as always, I am joined by my two amazing co hosts. Would you like to tell the people who it is that you are?
Hey, it's Stephanie, aka Captain Steph on Twitter, the Snowqueer on Tumblr, Hell Stuff on Instagram, hey you to my cat, I don't know. But I'm here, and we're gonna do a show live. Look at that.
Heck yeah. Who else we got?
Still me, and I'm still Eric, and we're coming to you on the internet live.
Yeah, we are live. Yeah. So if you are keeping up with us, we're going to start doing this live on Twitch each weekend. Just do a live show, kind of have that more talk show feel. It's going to be the same podcast, but just online. So if you want to comment at us while we're doing it, that could be more your speed or something like that. Who knows? This is a whole thing. Additionally, you could probably leave comments with us and just hang out and that kind of thing. But we're just going to do. Also, it's going to be easy for me to edit, and my life is painfully full and busy and rough to navigate things recently, despite the fact that I have nowhere physically to go. Life is still a lot. But
It'd be like that sometimes.
it does. It really does. However, we do have another episode full of pop culture lovelies and goodness, and we can. Damn, I'm looking at this list. It's like, what the hell kind of world do we live in? I'll start with the most recent thing for me, and if you all want to be great dance partners and follow my lead, we can just do that. I watched season 2 of Umbrella Academy yesterday, the day after it came out, which was pretty good. I like Umbrella Academy now. It's a good show.
Nice. If I'm correct, you didn't watch the first season?
I did not watch season 1 of the Umbrella Academy at all. My partner watched it, and I walked in on one scene, like during a fight scene in the house, kind of thing.
Mm-hmm.
But I didn't know any of the characters or what was going on. All I knew was Ellen Page and Mary J. Blige were in it, and it was based off of a comic from the dude from My Chemical Romance, Gerard Way.
Yep.
And I, with my minor explanation from my partner as far as like what the powers are and kind of like why the last season ended the way it did, and maybe watching a video, jumped right in. You don't have to know a lot to enjoy the story. It's actually pretty fun and fascinating, I must say.
Is that the one that's about the academy where they teach the scientists for Umbrella Corporation and Resident Evil?
Yes.
Okay, cool.
Kind of. There's nefarious shit going on.
I watched the first 2 episodes of the first season like last year. And I don't know why I just didn't keep going with it. Probably just because I have a short attention span for like 45-minute episodes.
Yeah. I feel like a lot of TV is like that, or a lot of Netflix stuff is like that, where if you don't just watch all of it, it's hard to come back unless you were already invested in it.
Mm-hmm.
I think that can make it very tricky and difficult to stick with something. But hey, it was fun. It was good. I recommend it to everybody. There's some nice twists and turns. It deviates from the comic to flesh out 2 of the storylines. This isn't really a spoiler, I guess. It's in the first episode. Based on events from the end of the last season, they decide to try to jump back in the past to avoid the apocalypse that they were dealing with.
Can we do that?
I wish we could do that. However, I wouldn't. Not sure if I would want to do that because they time jump back to the 60s, and the time jump kind of screws up and drops them up in the same spot, in the same place, but over 3 different years.
Oh.
Mm-hmm.
Which one of the characters is a black woman, so that wasn't a great time for her to be there. Another one of the characters is Ellen Page is kind of a queer person. So again, not a great time for her either. And mean, I assume that she is that. It's just the way that they play the character, at least in the first few episodes. I think that.
Mhm.
What else? Oh yeah, the black character, the black lady. She doesn't have her voice at this point, because her power is activated through speech, and someone purposely like cut her throat so she wouldn't be able to do that. As far as I could tell, or they cut her throat. I don't know if that was the goal. So she can't activate her power, which is when she says, "I heard a rumor," whatever she says next will come true. Like, I heard a rumor that you will leave me alone, and someone will just leave you alone, which would be very handy in the '60s.
Yeah.
As a black woman, but she can't talk at all. Luckily, the Umbrella Academy has taught her to fight, so she was able to like fight some dudes and get away and run away and go like find refuge somewhere. But other than that, just like a bunch of stories with people being displaced in time and having to deal with that, which is kind of funny going after the conversation and tirade I went on last week about Cap being in the past.
Oh yeah.
But similar kind of time displacement stuff. But it was really fun. A lot of cool superpower stuff, some weird time travel stuff. Yeah, I like it. I'm probably gonna go read the comics now. And there's only 3 issues. Each season corresponds to an issue, so I'm like, damn, they probably could
Yeah.
tell the whole ass story if it's just based on one graphic novel. Yeah, that's what I did this weekend.
So the only thing that I actually watched this past week was not a show or an anime or anything, but something that I think is kind of fascinating. It's a streamer on Twitch by the name of Wayne Radio TV did a series called Half-Life VR, but the AI is self-aware. And
Oh, no.
what it was posed as is that he is playing through Half-Life VR as Gordon Freeman, and there are AI that talk to him, AI quote unquote. But what it really is, it's his friends who are playing roles within the game, trying to behave like AI. Some of them aren't trying very hard, in my opinion, but it kind of sparked this thing for me of was interested in people creating drama or series using VR and like machinima basically.
Oh,
But
okay.
this was all performed live in improv, so that was fairly interesting and also absolutely hilarious. I absolutely recommend. He did like the series itself is very long, but he also edited it down to make it easier to view. So there's like 3 quote unquote seasons with 3 episodes each that are like 30 minutes long, maybe. So
That sounds pretty fun, actually.
yeah, it's incredible. Like the idea behind creating an improv comedy / drama using VR and basically what is the source engine. So it was pretty interesting to take a look at.
I like that. I'll have to check that out. I'm glad you
Um,
said all that because it reminded me of the other thing that I watched this week. So H Bomber guy released another Behemoth video, which is what he does, which I appreciate because that's the kind of person I am.
You like to watch them long ass things.
I love long ass stuff on YouTube. It's so good. People
I'm like,
watch
what if
movies.
it's any video that's over like any YouTube video that's over like 2.5 minutes? I'm like, I don't have time.
See, I watch it like as TV type stuff. That's how I consume it. It's not.
Yeah.
I know a lot of people are like, I want to watch a YouTube video and they want to get to the point and get done. I'm like, no. I'd rather watch something long than, I guess in your case, like read something that's very long. I think for informational type things or trivia, I don't even watch it half the time. I just listen to it. So it's like, But yeah, he did a 2.5 hour video about why RWBY was disappointing. And a lot of Ruby fans got mad, which, I understand people get mad when you say a thing that they love or are devoted to isn't as good as people say. But a lot of the points seemed pretty reasonable and backed up, whereas the counterpoints didn't. They were just kind of mad, which, again, I'd be mad too. I get mad when people trash Sonic and they're not accurate about it. IGN specifically. But whatever.
At least be right about it if you're gonna shit on Sonic.
Yeah,
at least be accurate about your hatred for the blue hedgehog.
Yeah, because I'm sure you'll agree with most of the fans because we hate it too. Please free us. But it was actually fascinating to watch this, and it did seem a lot like, damn, Ruby had a lot of hype and potential around it. Could have been really awesome, and it just kind of wasn't because of, I don't know. Well, I mean, I know why he said, but I'm not sure why people had the writing issues that he claimed they did. Like, I'm not sure why they would make these mistakes when they seem to be pretty good writers otherwise. So
Mhm.
Have either of you watched Ruby or anything like that?
I have
No,
not. I
I
know
kind
of
of
it.
I kind of have a vendetta against Rooster Teeth.
Ooh.
Oh no. Yeah, it seemed like it was something that wasn't for me. It seemed like, oh, this is something like teenage girls like. I'll just let them like it. I don't need to criticize it. And I didn't know it was like an anime thing, which again, I don't think I was the target audience. I was just like, if people want to like something, go ahead. I don't have to like it too. But the costumes are pretty cool and the fights are fun. So,
Yeah, the costumes, I think that was like a big, I know a lot of people who, by a lot of people, I mean like a specific subset of my cosplaying friend group who were really into cosplaying the Ruby characters because they had a pretty like cool aesthetic.
yeah,
Yeah, I can recall seeing a lot of that at conventions and stuff.
it's the one thing that I pulled from it is that so much of Ruby is just your favorite anime, but like boiled down into this one, and I feel like you can get there with the characters on like it's some anime ass shit. Like the main character has this giant scythe that turns into a gun, and that's the most anime sentence I think you
That's some
could
pretty
say.
anime shit,
Yeah,
yeah.
that's some God Eater shit right there.
And the premises that the show seemed to be about. Again, I haven't watched it. I can only hope H. Bomber Guy was telling the truth. I don't see why he would lie, but anyone can. I'm not. Anybody can lie. It seems like, man, there were some good ass ideas here. Too bad they didn't follow up. And again, as a Sonic fan, I can relate.
Really feel that.
But yeah,
Yeah, my thing I watched this week was that those when posting goes wrong videos that YouTuber, I think his name is like Eldina Doublecast
so
or
good.
something. They're so good. It's just like love to hear about mess, like very much like that like clip of Marie Kondo being like, I love mess. Like talking about just the truly bonkers like and like pointless to many extents, like not like there was no profit involved necessarily for any of these people, but like he has 3 different like, and again like this I will sit and watch 45 minutes of because it's fascinating, but like people who have like pretended for like for whatever reason to be other people or to have like zillions of sock puppets or like the Tumblr witch who stole human bones,
Because that's a
like
thing.
it just like the really crazy stuff that happens on the internet. And they are fascinating to watch, and I recommend if you too love mess
Yeah.
to there's some stuff. It was really the one they have one about Miss Scribe, which was a whole big Harry Potter fandom drama from like 2006.
Yeah, and apparently we have a personal connection to that, which you had to tell me.
Yeah, which interestingly enough, one of the people who was involved in that ended up going on to be involved in Universal FanCon, which is another scheme that is not quite when posting goes wrong, but I would love to hear someone do some sort of big, deep video essay kind of dive into that as well.
That would be cool because related to the YouTuber Doublecast, they have done voices and they've had voices in their YouTube videos from YouTuber Sarah Zed, and she has a video where Doublecast speaks in about DashCon.
Haha.
Sarah Zed is like a fandom. How do you put it?
Historian kind of? Or?
Video essayist, right? So
Mm.
different things about different fandoms and just video essays about whatever she wants to talk about. Good channel, I recommend it. But one of them was about DashCon and just like why that was the mess that it was, and it's like,
Mm-hmm.
oh, I had the complete wrong idea of why this fell apart. I assumed just nobody went. I didn't realize how horribly mismanaged it
Yeah,
was.
Oh
it was
yeah,
almost
it
like
was
the people
probably
running
the
it.
people went.
Yeah, yeah.
Which is
I was reading Noelle Stevenson's graphic memoir last week, and like one of the things that she mentions in the year that DashCon, she was like, I went to a convention that became an internet meme.
Wait, she went to DashCon?
She was DashCon, yeah.
Wow.
She was just famous for Nimona at the time. Like,
Huh.
she was just like an indie webcomic person.
That's the level of fame that I want to be at, is that I'm invited to stuff like DashCon, except I want that stuff to actually happen.
And be good.
I don't mind if it's good or bad, as long as it's not bad for bad reasons.
No, I mean, as long as I'm not like the Welcome to Night Vale creators like ended up sleeping on someone's couch because the hotel that DashCon people were supposed to put together didn't exist.
Yes.
So like, as long as it's not that kind of bad, like I will enjoy even a quote unquote bad convention.
Yeah. The reason I say a certain kind of bad, because another person, a YouTuber, got exposed this past weekend, like in animation YouTube, of being a child groomer, I think is the word.
Oh, good.
Great.
Yeah, it's fantastic. Which the strange part about it is that he had admitted to this previously, but like kind of like deleted it and just kind of didn't really talk about it. So people were asking his friendly YouTuber, like, "Hey, how come you didn't say anything about this?" And like, "Bro, I didn't know." And they're like, "How'd you not see this tweet?" They're like, "What tweet?" They're like, "Oh, it actually got deleted." So like, there was a good chance you were sleeping because this was in a different time zone and you just literally didn't see this. And then they never talked about it again. But the victim had like come forward and said, if people want to talk about this, I give them like my blessing and consent to talk about it. And there's a lot of yikes. So don't want to give any more air to that person. They're not on the internet really anymore. Like, they deleted their channel and their Twitter and stuff like that.
Probably for the best.
Yeah,
Probably for the best. There's different speculation of if they're just trying to go in hiding, like get avatars and keep their editing gigs. But like, people don't want to, because people don't want to work with a predator. That's not really something I want to do anyway. So, but people still want to be out here, making money or doing whatever they want to do, keeping their hustle. And it's, hey, I don't have to just let you, go into the workforce. So, we really don't want you in the fandom communities and stuff like that. So, terrible shit. But better that people are getting exposed and called out, and people are denouncing that kind of stuff. So, there's a silver lining, I hope.
Something like this is not related on the same level of terribleness, but I'm sure the two of you have seen Butch Hartman on Twitter.
Yeah, doing like tracing commissions.
Yeah.
How is it this is the same sphere of terrible people, but it's a different kind of terribleness and a different scale.
Yeah.
But like, we haven't left animation YouTube.
Right. And it's just like, I don't understand how. First off, if you are the quote-unquote creator of all these acclaimed cartoons, how are you drawing such bad art?
I want to say laziness, because like, as of like at least 5 years ago, I watched one of those videos like from Jello Apocalypse, so this is basically, and he did one on Danny Phantom, and Butch Hartman drew like some new characters for it. It's like, yeah, that looks like kind of like Butch's style, but this looks like something that he must have drawn. He said he did it. And it doesn't look trace from anything, so I don't know why he's tracing stuff when he can already draw.
Yeah, and charging $200 a pop for like very simple character
traced art.
Yeah, yes. I don't know, just the different types of terrible, but that's just what's on the internet right now.
Yeah, someone commissioned him to draw a picture of Dib from Invader Zim, and I like the art from Invader Zim, but it's not particularly complex art. If you're somebody who can draw, I imagine you can draw Zim or Dib or any of the characters. They're purposely like basic shapes that you can look at, but like, he traced one, so they're like, dog, why did you trace this? This isn't your property. You probably could have had, like, what are you doing?
Yeah.
I don't know. He has his like whole scam channels and stuff like that, and a lot going on with him, but luckily we haven't heard from Dan Schneider in a while, so that's probably a good thing. Right? So yeah, let's talk about the past a little bit. The UPN and WB shows are being brought to Netflix, which is very exciting for Black people.
Okay, so are when they say that, does that mean like old like sitcoms and stuff, or like Animaniacs, or like?
No, not that part of WB, which is weird that they said it. The only reason people are including WB on this is because of Moesha, I believe. Is coming to the service, so it's mostly just UPN shows plus Moesha, which I could have wrote that, but it was more characters that I didn't want to type on my phone when I put this in the doc. Be fully transparent. But yeah, like shows like One on One, Girlfriends, Half and Half, The Game, lots of shows that a lot of black people and possibly non-black people, I suppose. But I grew up on. It was either the UPN block on Mondays, or One Tree Hill from the CW on Wednesdays. Depends on whenever my mom was braiding my hair. And it is a huge tonal shift to go from watching the Parkers and Girlfriends to going to watch One Tree Hill. It's a very different kind of lifestyle.
I learned yesterday at my sister's bridal shower that apparently that's her favorite TV show. I didn't know.
One Tree Hill.
It
Huh.
was news to me.
Chad Michael Murray. He was that dude, and it has that really good theme song, by Gavin DeGraw. I Don't Want to Be, which is very repetitive, but it's a great first verse and chorus if you don't have to hear it a second time. As soon as that second verse hits, just let it go. Maybe skip to the bridge, but like a second verse, it's like, I see why you wanted to say all this, but I would have maybe wrote it there. I don't know. Interesting show. But yeah, I'm
That's
excited
cool,
about
though.
seeing the
Yeah.
UPN stuff come up. It might be interesting for a new generation of people to see, or a different demographic, but it'll definitely be a nice nostalgia thing for a lot of us to see some of these black voices. I think people pretty well know Tracy Ellis Ross at this point, but the first thing I know her from was Girlfriends. So, and
Not gonna lie though.
Go ahead.
Oh, go ahead. No,
I was
mine
gonna
can
say,
be added at the end.
yeah, it's always been hard for me to see her in other roles and not just like remember her from that role. I'm like, oh no, she's that like kind of neurotic lady. It's like, no, that was a character. Like you were just young. It's like, oh, also in the show,
This person.
yeah, she's a whole person. The show One on One had Kyla Pratt in it, who voiced Penny in the Proud Family. But also had the brother from Cousin Skeeter, Bobby. So that's just a fun thing that different people. So I'm looking forward to like maybe revisiting some of those. I'm pretty excited.
Yeah, it's a really cool thing that they're doing. Though I will say that I would have also been stoked to see Animaniacs on there, just because I really do enjoy that show.
Oh, yeah,
That's what was,
that'd
when
be
I
pretty
said
cool.
WB, I was like, the cartoons?
No, yeah, I can see why my message would dictate that, but no, those are probably WB shows are probably fully owned by HBO Max and Hulu.
Yeah, most likely.
So I mean, if the WB animation and those shows came to Netflix, I think that would also be huge news, but just for a completely different reason.
Yeah, that'd be different industry news at that point.
Yeah, but yeah, cool for black people.
Nice.
That's my motto. I'm just rooting for everybody black, which some terms and conditions may apply. I don't know if this is the forum to have that conversation necessarily. It would be very weird for it would just be me talking at you two, I guess. But speaking of black people's issues, something got put in the doc a little bit later, which I'm glad it did. There's the discussion over it's fraudulently being called Gen Z language.
Yeah.
So
Like,
we have a linguist here, right? You're kind of a linguist, you two, right?
Both of us.
Is in the English language.
Yeah.
So just to get a wealth of opinions, Steph, you put this here. What did you see that made you want to talk about this?
Well, actually, one of the things I saw that really like stuck with me. So it's gone for many, many years. Like in the same, like in all pop culture in America, like white people want to take black pop culture, but not black people.
Yeah.
And this like kind of slang is just another way that happens. And so like I saw a thing that said like in Toni Morrison in like one of her books that came out in like 1979 said it'd be like that sometimes. Like that's not something that someone born in 1998 came up with.
Right.
Like it's something like that comes from black culture, and that is not like something that like college girls came up with or gay people came up with, specifically white gay people. Like anything that you hear like people saying on Drag Race or like I don't know, like that stuff is all coming originally out of black culture.
Yeah, like I don't know the full history and context of it mostly because I'm a heathen. But I know a lot of slang that we know today comes from black people. Very often black women and or like ball and drag community culture and stuff like that. Saying stuff like that's the tea or shade or slay, um, that have spread to the wider black community, but have been predominantly from some of those subcultures, or even specifically, we all know the example of a few years ago when I believe Peaches Monroe coined the term on fleek on Vine or TikTok, probably Vine, which
It goes on Vine.
that
Yeah,
part I
back
won't
then it would have been
co-sign
Vine.
on. I don't really co-sign Vine, but again, I'm rooting for everybody black. Please get her checks. But that became like a big thing that lots of other people were profiting off of and using and saying, "Oh, that's just internet lingo." It's like, well, I mean, on a way, yes, but on a much bigger, deeper way, not really.
Yeah, it's like when you take it and like you print it on a T-shirt and make a bunch of money off of your like white girl Etsy store.
It's probably
Like,
not a good look.
yeah,
And
then
So
problem.
there's also the greater discussion of like calling that internet lingo, like this might just be the old fart in me sitting here, but like internet lingo to me is like text speak stuff.
Yeah,
You
like
know,
you're
like
like
stuff that we
FK,
saw on,
LOL, BRB, like
yeah, stuff that we
yeah,
used on old like ICQ like messengers and stuff like that. Like you know, like not because you wouldn't be saying the stuff out loud, and when you did meet people who said that stuff out loud in reality, you looked at them like, what the fuck are you doing?
yeah. I think there. I think there's definitely a discussion like that as well. There are some things that are black culture, but kind of have like an internet speak version of them that kind of like things kind of get regurgitated back into the real world sometimes, in the sense that something would be uh, like that's hot AF, like was an internet thing, but like I feel like started with black people, but there's not a
yeah,
reason why we would necessarily say that in real life, unless you were
Right.
trying to be polite and you would say as F instead of AF. So there's a combination of those things, but like I think current internet lingo would be like garbage troll Twitch chat, like saying poggers, because that's like three steps
The
removed from.
kids say you pogged it.
Oh no! But like poggers comes from play of game or play of the game, and it became this
Yeah.
whole thing. It's like, yeah, if you people do say poggers, I've heard that being verbally said, but that doesn't. I
Wish I could
wouldn't.
unhear it.
I wish I could.
but I wish it was.
I wish I could unhear it being said.
Or like people saying Kek W or Monka. It's like, please stop saying these things out loud. But I get it. That's the kind of stuff I'm like, yeah, that's probably internet culture because that originated and has a context on the internet.
Well, yeah, and like also, this is just going to be a weird tangent for me, but like saying Keck in the first place is such a strange thing that has become like this horrible, like,
Like
you know,
weird, like alt right
yes, and
kind of
It's from
it,
thing.
Warcraft, right?
it literally originates from when you were an Alliance character playing in World of Warcraft, and somebody on the Horde faction said in Orcish, LOL, it came up as Keck. And that was it. That's it. That's all it was. But now it's morphed into this like horrible, like alt-right nonsense. Like I don't understand it.
I don't either. I don't know like why it became a 4chan thing. Probably because it was like, well, you know, it's we were insular nerds. Not me, I wasn't there, but like we're insular nerds. We all understand what kek means, so it'll be like we'll just say like kek, and people won't get that we're just saying LOL.
Right.
And they'll be like, "What does that mean?" And, we'll be like, and we'll just be able to keep saying it because we're not technically not answering them.
Yeah.
And then like since it's on 4chan, that's where the alt right started to like find its roots. Um, which apparently like the music board in 4chan is still like relatively decent for some reason. That's a
Oh
whole other
yeah.
thing.
A lot of the like the non like
Or
shitpost
like B
boards.
and Paul, like
Yeah, like the cosplay board is still like apparently fairly like decent,
that's
though
so
like a lot of like
strange.
hatred. But
That's so strange to me. I mean, it's interesting.
that's
Like
an especially strange part of the site to still be decent.
yeah.
um,
But
but to the greater conversation, yeah, you see it kind of like whenever somebody's calling somebody based, it's probably someone who's like an alt right shithead or something like that. But I'm like,
Yeah.
my first time hearing that was like Lil B Based God,
yeah, I was gonna
and that's where they got it from. And I think just since Little B, I don't think is a bigot, but he's just like kind of like a trolly dude, and we're never 100% sure. Is like, does he think this is good or is he trolling? Like, what's his music really like? What's his whole shtick? And it's like he might just be trolling. Like he released like 300 albums one year, and I like most of it. It was I was like, I don't understand why people like this. He doesn't seem to be rhyming, but he's calling it rap. But I can't even place a meter, so I don't know what he's doing. Um, and I'm not mad that he's doing it. I just don't get it. But it's not that I'm old, because I was like 17. I'm like, I don't understand what this man is doing. Props to him though. But somehow being based is like, oh yeah, women who hate feminists are based. It's like, I don't know what that means. Like, what does that mean? You just like took these things that were probably black culture. I didn't really hear a lot of people saying that other than Little B.
I mean, the only time I ever heard the term based was like literally on internet forums, and it was being used in a way to say like good. Like
That's what it was meaning, but I don't know where it came from, and that's me just being out of the loop. But that's the kind of stuff that is kind of semi-problematic to see it this way. And if you just want to see the way that like things can be co-opted and appropriated, like Pepe the Frog is like an alt-right symbol, like most of the time,
much to the chagrin of its creator.
Yeah,
exactly. Like the guy who made it was not.
He didn't want that shit.
He's super not okay with it. Like
I just drew a frog this one time.
Well, it was like a little comic series, and they were always like really dumb. Like the one that I always remember is it would be like Pepe in the bathroom, and another character comes in, and they're like, Pepe, why do you have your pants all the way down to pee? And he would just say, "Feels good, man," and then that was it.
That's funny shit, man.
Right? And like I still say "feels good, man," like,
which is weird because like "feels good, man," "feels bad, man," like have not been associated with the bad connotations of just having a Pepe frog.
Yeah.
Which is so. I mean, if you don't understand like why appropriation of like black culture can be so bad, it's kind of like that kind of thing. Your words get taken and morphed into something that you don't want to. Or at worst case scenario, best case scenario, you're just not getting the props for something that you created, and people are saying that other people did. Stuff like shout out or props is stuff that you'll hear in an office setting at one point. At this point, people are like, we want to give a shout out to so and so. I'm like, that's hip hop culture. I remember. I remember there being a time where if you said that at work, they'd be like, man, this person's so unprofessional and ghetto. They're saying stuff like shout out and props. We're like, my bad. It's like that. How did this happen? It's very strange to me.
At the same time, like, to a degree at least, using that kind of stuff normalizes it, and I don't want to say elevates, because it's not like the culture was wrong in the first place, but it at least makes people think twice before judging somebody who says it.
Yeah, I think that would be the end goal. Hope is that once you've heard like enough new things, you start to. In an ideal world, you would just be like, oh, you know what? My vocabulary has changed so much over the past 10 years. I should be more open to when I hear people say things that I don't understand or quite get.
Yeah.
But what it turns out to be is these things don't become acceptable until they're through the right voices.
Yeah.
Like famous white women wearing braids or certain kinds of braids, and now it's not seen as quite as unprofessional as it used to. Or as much as I like it, K-pop just seemed to be black music with not black faces, and people seem to really love that shit. And it's probably why I like it, but it's because I'm like, I like black people shit. This seems similar to black people shit. But yeah, a lot like BTS and a lot of like K-pop, hip-hop is like, yo, these are just like rappers and like wearing like streetwear and stuff like that. Like people joke like, oh,
well,
wow,
like Chinese fashion is full of that right now too.
Chinese fashion is just like shit black people were wearing 20 years ago, which to be fair, fashion always cycles, so it's about time for stuff from 20 years ago to start being popular again. However,
this is true.
I would like credit to go to the people who originated it. Like people give props to Billie Eilish for wearing baggy clothes, and there's a level of hey, it's cool that you are saying, hey, I don't have to show off my body like the world wants me to, but if you want to, that's dope too. But this style of clothes, I'm like, yo, like wearing like logos and stuff, like having M&M pants. I remember like the candy, not the person, or like Sesame Street hoodies. Like, yo, I remember having that shit at like the stores like in East Liberty that aren't there no more. Yeah, this is the shit that I was wearing in like 2002, and people were like, why do you dress so black? I'm like, because I am, but also what the fuck, like, yeah. You want to say something, Steph?
Oh, I was just gonna say, like, it's also like it's frustrating to see that kind of like especially any appropriation can be frustrating, but like especially when it's someone like who ultimately is like using like language that they took from Black culture and then screwing over Black people. Like if like Ivanka Trump was like slaying at the Emmys or something like that, it'll be
She has
like
probably said that.
which she probably it's like so it's like you are actively making this country a worse place for the people you took that word from. Like
Yeah, that also kind of sucks. Not gonna lie. It's yeah, I don't know. It's also cringy hearing people use words they don't want to. Like, oh my god, you're shading so much right now. Like, that's not how that's used.
no.
Yeah, a lot of it's like they understand what the word might portray, but not how to use it in a sentence. So.
Yeah. I remember one of the big things was when people were saying "bye Felicia" a lot, and then there was
Yeah.
this shirt that says I want to be like Felicia. She's always going places. It's like Felicia was a crackhead in Friday, dog. Like I don't think you want to be like. I don't know if that's really the goal of what you want to do, but hey, to each their own, I suppose.
If that's your dream.
Yeah.
But I just kind of don't think it is. But I mean, I still think people should appreciate Black culture. I'm Black. I produce culture. Please appreciate me. I don't need your approval. I don't need approval, but I mean, if you want to give me some money, I'm not going to say no. That would be strange of me. Remember when, like, this is nowhere near as important, but it kind of is like the same type of thing. It's kind of like, how, like, non-marginalized groups can experience, like, hate, and it's like, that sucks, but it's not really a systemic issue.
Mm-hmm.
This is kind of like that. I remember when, like, people who weren't, like, super nerdy were, like, saying epic fail in real life. And I'm like, that feels weird. I don't know what about this feels weird. Obviously I never pursued any issue because it's like, I'm not going to call it a civil rights issue because somebody in a I hate nerds t-shirt said epic fail. That's not really affecting my life in any tangible way. You were saying something? I think.
Oh no.
Go ahead.
Okay.
I forget.
I'm still a little bit reeling from the revelation about Keck because I thought it was just like a ironic shortening of like Japanese villain laughter.
It could also be that, but no. That's unfortunate. If it was that would be honestly better in a way, at least in my opinion. But
wouldn't be associated with Warcraft.
Yeah, which I mean, like, Warcraft has a lot of problematic communities within it, like, obviously, because it's a video game. But, just seeing that become that, like, because I can think back to, when I was in, like, a freshman or a sophomore in high school playing World of Warcraft, and, like, people saying Keck because, like, we were all playing Alliance and we were making fun of the Horde, like,
it was like your fun and joke, yeah. Like,
yeah, and I don't know. There's a lot of stuff like that. Like, as Dom was saying, like, epic becoming a mainstream word when it's like a lot of this stuff was like quote unquote gamer slang or whatever, which, it probably originated somewhere else before that, but that's what it then became associated with.
Yeah.
So
yeah. I think when it's not appropriating like a culture, like when it's not like stealing from Black culture or like established cultures, and it's more of like taking from gamer lingo, it's the same thing as like, imagine if someone just like gave your in joke to somebody else. I think that's what it probably is. Like when people were saying like epic and stuff, it's like, I'm not hurt by this. Like, oh man, there goes like that inside joke we had that honestly wasn't a very good inside joke. So maybe it's better that we're not using it anymore. But oh damn, we had a joke, now it's gone.
Yeah.
However,
or it's like I feel like I can't use these same like little slangs that we had just to like portray feelings within like a video game or whatever, or that was it's wanting to feel included inside of your own in group, and then when people come into that group uninvited, it can feel invasive.
Yeah. I just had a point, but I completely lost it. It was like a follow up that was just some dumb shit, but it's a whole thing. Whatever.
I have a really smooth segue.
Segue that shit.
Speaking of both K-pop and cultural appropriation and creating Black people creating American culture, do we want to talk about TikTok?
Yeah, let's talk about TikTok.
Yeah.
Also, yeah, Fortnite owes like so many black people so much money.
Yeah.
Morally, not legally, but
Fortnite owes a lot of like people in general, like it owes society a lot. Like, let's be real.
They owe me money for what they've done to me personally.
Yeah, let's talk about TikTok. So I guess it's actually going to happen that the United States is going to ban TikTok.
I mean, okay,
Like, is that
that's what he said, but he said he would do it Saturday, and it's
it's still there?
Sunday right now, and I'm pretty sure it hasn't been banned.
I mean, yeah, it's. I saw a lot of people that are like don't really fuck with TikTok. Were like, man, I think TikTok should go, but like not for these trash reasons. Like, I think people should just leave it. I don't think it should be banned or anything like that.
Yeah.
It's like what we talk about, I think a fairly frequent theme of the show is like, if you don't like TikTok because it like downloads firmware to your phone and like tracks you for the Chinese government, like that's a valid reason not to like TikTok. If you don't like TikTok because some teen said something mean about your racist like nonsense on the service, that's a bad reason to hate TikTok.
Yeah. There's plenty of valid reasons to dislike social media, and TikTok is included in that.
Yeah.
So
the conspiracy theory that I heard, which you ever heard like, again twice in 2 weeks, but have you ever heard a conspiracy theory like I don't really think that's a conspiracy. I think that just might be something that's a thing.
Might be true.
Like, hey,
is it
Conspiracy fact?
is it the conspiracy that the real reason that TikTok is being taken down is because Facebook is putting out a service that is going to be akin to TikTok?
Yeah.
And removing the competition would help Zuckerberg, and Trump likes Zuckerberg.
Yeah, that's pretty much what I heard. And based on the
Yep.
fact that so much of our current government is just money driven, I was like, yeah, that makes sense. Because if it was really like, oh man, that we don't want all this like Chinese spyware, it's like, okay, well you probably got to get rid of Fortnite and Tencent too, then like, but no one's
Yep.
doing that. And if it was literally just Trump doesn't want his feelings to get hurt, he'd have to take some actions against Twitter because like TikTok,
Yeah, a lot of people who don't sharper.
like Trump's not seeing people make fun of him on TikTok. He's not over there. I don't think like that. Why go there? Why go to your own public dunking? So yeah, I would be willing to believe that it's like, yeah, it's just a money thing, and that checks out to me. But
Which honestly, also like to me, the Facebook thing, I can see it on one hand. My like aggressively exhausted with American capitalism thing can see it, but also like several tech CEOs were just like hounded in front of Congress because they're trying to decide whether to bring an antitrust suit against all of them. And I feel like it would be a really ugly move in that context to be like, oh yeah, by the way, we had the government bully out a competitor.
Yeah.
Well, that's why they gotta put it like in some sort of like context, like, oh, we don't like it because of like racist reasons, or we see it as a threat to American security. We can't just say, oh, it's competition, like that. Yeah, that would look bad. So we gotta like make up some shit that's like that doesn't stand up to scrutiny. I don't think.
Which, like, here's the thing, like, if they did just straight up say, like, it is a threat to American security and there wasn't anything shady beyond that, like, yeah, it is. Like, it is absolutely a threat. And, like, Japan just banned it.
Yeah.
Like, there are other countries that are banning it because, like, they have also recognized the issues with it.
That's wild. So are they gonna, like, do stuff with, like, Epic and Riot then?
I don't know. I haven't followed that as enough, to know that. I'm not sure how popular those companies are in Japan in the first place.
Okay.
Since like PC gaming and like non-console gaming is pretty few and far between there.
That's right. Yeah. That might not be an issue, and I don't think. Yeah, where would Fortnite be popular? Is Fortnite just popular like in the West?
I mean, it is like a phone app, so it is popular.
Oh,
It probably is popular in Japan, and I just don't know. Like, and I don't want to say one way or the other.
So I know like PUBG is pretty popular in some of the Asian countries outside of Korea.
China specifically.
Yeah, and then League of Legends is real big, and MOBAs are big in South Korea.
Yeah.
It's interesting to see the different gaming demographics around the world, especially like where people play fighting games versus MOBAs versus shooters and that kind of thing. I feel like I don't know if this is true, but I feel like Overwatch is unique in being a shooter that's liked in some of the Asian countries. I don't think that's
Yeah,
a common genre.
no, like Call of Duty and that kind of stuff is pretty much majority popular in like European and American for markets. So
Gotcha. Is it true that Jet Set Radio Future didn't do well in Japan because it was an Xbox exclusive and they didn't fuck with
yes,
Xbox?
yep, that is absolutely the 100% the case. And like Microsoft doubled down on like trying to like capture the Japanese audience with the 360 and like signed a deal with Square Enix at one point to like have, I think it was 3 exclusive JRPGs made for Xbox, and then like also bring the next like 3 Final Fantasy games to Xbox.
That didn't really work, did it?
No,
I would
did
say
not.
I don't remember that ever actually happening.
I mean, those games did come out. So the 3 games were Star Ocean 4, Lost Odyssey, and there's the third one I
I
can
want to
never
say
remember the
Final
name
Fantasy
of.
11 or something came out on the Xbox 360.
It did, yes.
I've heard of
But
Star.
that wasn't one of them though.
Okay.
That one just happened to be out there anyways.
Because we bought it and then realized it was kind of like MMO type game.
It 100% is an MMO.
Yeah, and we're like, this isn't what we thought it was gonna be. Because we were like, oh, we like Phantasy Star Online. That's an online RPG. This will be good too. And we're like, this isn't for us. They really got it right at Final Fantasy 14. But,
yeah, they did.
Yeah, someone was talking shit the other day. They said that Sega has been pretty quiet this year. And someone's like, no, you guys only like Sonic. Like, Sega's had a bunch of games this year since quarantine started, considering like Streets of Rage 4, Persona 5 Royal,
Yeah.
some Yakuza. I'm like, honestly, I gotta be reminded half the time that these are Sega games, like, because Sega doesn't ever make a big show that they're releasing games.
Yeah.
Like, they have a massive, a massive catalog of games. Like, of course, you have Sonic, you have Jet Set Radio, all the Persona series is under Sega. You have the Yakuza series, like
Project Diva.
Panzer Dragoon, Golden Axe, like all these different games. You're like, wow, they actually have a ton of games. It's wild that they don't make a big deal about them. And like Yakuza games keep coming out and people love them. And Persona games are huge. Is Shin Megami Tensei considered Atlas and Sega?
So it's considered Atlas because Sega's just the publisher at that point, I believe.
Gotcha.
God, it's killing me that I can't remember this third JRPG that came out on Xbox. I don't know. It wasn't good. I had it. It was not a great game.
Hey, well, we got a confirmation that Persona 5 Scramble is coming to the United States or to the West.
I mean, I already.
Oh, well,
look, I've tried to assuage your fears about that
No,
multiple times.
you told me. I'm just pointing out that it has been confirmed that it's coming out here.
Yeah.
With no date, which is like,
Yep.
cool. So that thing that we assumed was going to happen is going to happen. Thanks. You have any idea when? No? Okay, cool, great. I love it.
As I said, it's exactly how Atlas always operates with their like bringing any sort of game to the US. It'll release in Japan. They'll take their sweet ass time translating it, and then it'll finally come out here. And then they'll be like, why didn't it sell as well in America? It's like, well, because you waited almost a year.
Yeah, like it's hard to get like a second release cycle for a game, like because people move on, like the hype happens, and it's like, well, I have other stuff to worry about. And when it's like, oh, hey, here's this, like it's a 1-year-old game, we're like, why didn't I play this before? I have these other new games to play.
Yeah.
And that kind of thing happens. Oh, speaking of Epic Games, that does sound so cringy in retrospect now. Epic Games, they're so epic, bro.
Yep.
Yeah, it really.
It's a bad studio name.
They have a new game coming out that I'm not sure what phase it's in, or early access or what, but like it's going to be free to play, but if you want to play it now, you have to buy it like during its beta phase or whatever, or early access phase.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't do that because I'm like, I'll just wait to play it. I don't have money like that, but they started doing the thing that Valorant did, and if you watch certain streams, if you watch certain streams, you can get a drop and like get a key for it. But also you can sign up for if you want to get it on console. So I signed up to see if I could get a Switch code, and it's like, oh yeah, if you're selected, you'll get the key within a few hours. Got it like in 5 minutes. Wasn't even paying attention. That's cool. But then I got a code for it for PC, which I played the tutorial and practice game. So it's kind of like it's like Fortnite's gunplay, sort of.
What's it called?
It's called Rogue Company.
Okay,
And
yeah, that's the one that I saw that on Switch as well.
yeah, so it has like the movement kind of stuff of Fortnite, like without the building and stuff like that, obviously. Sort of has like a Valorant type objective, like you either want to plant a bomb or stop it, but like sort of more, from what I heard, like more of a Rainbow Six Siege approach to how you would play it. But like with a Fortnite coat of paint, so like you see those characters, and I gotta say, Epic Games knows how to make hot characters. That's cool. Um, the characters actually have butts, and not like, oh hey, look at this flat butt, it's so curvy. Like no, they actually drew some nice butts. The men don't just have flat cardboard box butts, so that's a step up. Good job on
Nice.
the progress. And add this to the pile of games that have come out since Overwatch that are shooters. They have a black woman playable. I mean, she's behind the paywall with a bunch of the other characters, but she's just sitting there, and I'm like, I don't know how they chose what characters we get. It just seems random. Like they don't seem to have any uh, general like flow to them. I don't know if it's any easier or harder, but she's in the promotional material, so it's like, oh, okay, so you pull me in with this like cool black lady with this nice hair and a cool suit. She's on the box. I'm like, cool, I'm gonna get to play this person. They're like, haha, you gotta play the game for a while or give us money. I'm like, I'm gonna just have to grind out these levels then, because I'm not giving you any money. They do have a character who has a boob window, which is kind of weird, so that's not great. But most of the people are practically dressed or streetwear dressed, so it's even more strange. But yeah, I played a little bit. It's kind of fun. It's third person, something else to do. They've continued the trend of black guys that are healers that have braids and like green tips on the end. Don't know why Lucio is the archetype for healers, but that's cool, I suppose. Lucio's nice.
Recognizable, I guess.
You know what? If the stereotype is that, hey, black men aren't scary, they're healers, I'll take that stereotype over the one that, like, hey, they're villains just from existing. I'd rather no stereotypes, but I guess that's progress, I said facetiously. I don't know. It's whatever. It's cool. More games are coming out. Keep on playing. Uh, the Emmy nominations came out. Do we care about that at all?
I have not watched an award show in years.
No, yeah, I thought they were coming out. I thought there was some spice about, uh, like as always, diversity in nominating, like in the nominees.
Yeah, we're not doing great with it, but we are getting more black people involved, which is good. And you would think would be non-controversial, but you'd be wrong. I'm scrolling down and I'm seeing, black people and Middle Eastern people and the actors, black people and the actresses, outstanding supporting actors. You got William Jackson Harper as Chidi. You got Kenan Thompson as various characters in Saturday Night Live. Seems like a weird way to put that, but yeah, fine.
Yeah.
We got Mahershala Ali, Andre Roger as Captain Holt. Sterling K. Brown. No. Tony Shalhoub. I'm like, is Monk still on TV? He's in something else. But so I'm seeing lots of blackness, which is good. That makes me happy. That makes me personally smile. But we have not got there on
representation for Latinx people.
Yeah, that is what I have. That is the complaint that I've been hearing, and that is something that I agree with and have no issue with people saying. The problem is when it is brought up as like, oh, look how far black people are going. Like, when are we going to get our moment? It's like, well, hey, that's ignoring black Latinx people, and also it's like that's a shitty way to say, hey, like, you guys need representation too. I agree with that, and we're here for you. But like, maybe don't say that you're not getting it because of us, because that's still white supremacist nonsense. Maybe the representation is not happening because of like racism towards you, not racism for us, has been the general take that I've seen. Just kind of feels shitty when someone's like, we're not getting success because other people are. That, I don't know, that kind of hurts a little bit.
Yeah. It's not zero sum.
Yes, that's correct. Oh hey, Bette Midler's up for something. But yeah, lots of different stuff. It's also good to see Issa Rae just like kicking ass just for the sake of it at this point.
Yeah.
What is she's doing, like best actress, I think. Best outstanding lead, yeah. I think the show is up for some awards, and she should be getting ones for like writing it. Yeah, it's up for outstanding comedy series. People are like, yo, always remember she started on YouTube, so that's
Shit.
that's dope. Great to see a black lady shining like that. Um, but I don't really like fuck with award shows. I just like to see that they're kind of balancing stuff a little bit. Also, I guess Billy Porter's the only person who gets nominated for Pose, so that's probably a bad thing.
Yeah, maybe not great.
Yeah.
Maybe the one like notable cis person in the show being the one who gets nominated for stuff is not great.
No, it's not.
Just
The takes that I've seen were like he should be nominated for those things, but also a whole bunch of other people should too. Because Billy Porter apparently is doing a good job. I've never seen Pose. I don't need training on how to pose. I always try good poses. No, that's not the reason to watch the show. That's a joke. I'm sorry. But yeah,
how dare you make a joke?
Pittsburgh, right?
Yeah.
Hell yeah. We love a we stand a black king.
We
Now,
do.
okay, now it's okay. It again, I don't know if it's the right audience to ask. Is Stan black culture?
Since it came from Eminem, but
Like,
Eminem,
I
the
thought
white
it,
guy rapping.
yeah, like I thought the reason it became I could be wrong, but I thought it came from the Stan song, and it came from that song where Eminem
I
is
thought
a
it
white
came from the
man.
name Stanley.
Well, it did.
Came from people who are fans of Stanley Yelnats, the
Yeah.
holes.
I mean,
Car.
kind of. But so it's a white man who wrote this song about a guy named Stan who is obsessed with him, but he's writing in a black culture. But he didn't use Stan as a term; that was just the dude's name. So to call somebody a Stan would have been black culture because that's who decided to start using it that way. But it's because of a thing a white dude did in a black group. So I don't know. Language is in fact tricky.
Yeah, that like that's I have a lot of trouble trying to like attribute language to specific things because like yes, I definitely agree that things come from specific subcultures or like that kind of stuff, but man, lines can be very difficult to see.
Yeah.
I think it's for
Big
the it's probably for the obvious things. I think the big takeaway is to try to just consider why you're saying the things you're saying and where they came from. I think it's the big takeaway. And lastly, to finish up our show, we should talk about this feud being finished.
Yeah, I'm so relieved.
Yeah, like the world is saved.
The world is at peace once again.
I'm pretty sure like the pandemic's over. World peace has been achieved. AMC and Universal are no longer feuding.
Great.
I was so worried about it. I was so worried. AMC Senpai and Universal Senpai were fighting, and I didn't like it.
See, you said the feud, and I was like, oh, is Family Feud ending?
No,
And
They've canceled Family Feud. Now they cause I think we talked about it earlier in the summer. There was like this huge like throwdown between AMC and Universal Studios because of the Trolls World Tour movie.
Yeah, I recall that now.
Because it did so well in direct to
home
stream. Yeah. And AMC was like, well, we're not ever going to show Universal movies again. Get fucked. And I was like, guys, that's only going to hurt you.
there's other theater chains.
There's other movie theater chains.
Obviously, it's fine for them to go direct to home. So yeah, I don't. But so they've changed like the rules a little bit. Like movies don't have to be in theaters for quite as long before they are allowed to go to digital. So it's kind of like, oh, hey, the theaters just started being less of dickheads. I don't know.
It's weird because like right now it's like that's nice for the future, but like right now they're still gonna be putting things on direct to digital or like direct to stream if they're smart because it is in fact still a pandemic.
Yeah.
the pandemic's not over just because you're over it.
That's the big takeaway. That's the oh buddy. That's
Yep.
the big takeaway.
Yeah, we could talk about how, like a major Republican face died from COVID after previously saying that,
While his
Trump-
team he was dying in the hospital of COVID while his team was tweeting about how COVID's a hoax.
and you shouldn't wear a mask. Yeah.
Tisk tisk tisk. Yeah, it's kind of hard to
Sad
stretch
end
that
for
much sympathy.
known Pokemon plagiarizer Herman Cain.
I saw that clip was on my YouTube recommends again because I've been trying to like fix my recommendation from just being like 2 people.
Uh-huh.
And I'm like, okay, so now it's starting to like just it's getting confused because I'm watching old videos from different people I like. So it's like, okay, do you want like all the recent videos from this one dude, or do you also want this 10-year-old video from this person you watched one time? I'm like, yes, but why? But also that was there. I'm like, well, I guess people were probably searching it because he's passed away. But like, what the? Okay, cool. I'm just gonna pass by this. Was it the Mewtwo quote?
Yeah.
That's a good. In his defense, it's a very good quote.
It is. It's just very funny that he would use it.
Yeah, it's like if it was like AOC or something, I would know immediately that like she knew what she was doing and was doing it on purpose, kind of thing. Like,
Yeah.
Herman Cain, not so much.
Yeah.
He did have the best political ad of all time, where the last like 5 seconds of it were him slowly smiling. Just like the slowest smile. Like, man, that was a good ad.
ASC continues to flex on people. And you're talking about like needing to explain Twitch chat to her job and stuff like that. So
God, because they were talking to all those. Because she tried to get again relevant to our previous conversations, was working on getting legislation into like an upcoming bill that would, one, keep the army from recruiting in low-income high schools,
good.
but also
On Twitch. Which, like, yeah, they shouldn't be. Like, literal children are watching that channel. Like, come on.
Yeah, that's bad stuff.
Stuff, like, to have to explain Twitch to, like, some, like, I don't know, like, elderly QAnon idiot.
Oh, boy.
Yeah.
Yeah, so there's that. Good old Twitch, just doing whatever at this point.
Yeah.
Oh, remember that that senator, I guess, that's like mad at anime?
Oh,
he's a QAnon guy running for Congress.
Yeah, he is not thank God he is not currently in government. He just wants to be.
Oh, okay. So he's
in Florida.
So he's mad at anime for hentai, especially Dragon Ball Z, which is okay, cool. Like, I mean, we all agree that anime was a mistake, but you can't censor it.
Yeah.
I'm glad that he's really got his finger on the pulse of issues that were of concern to older white women in 1997.
Yep.
Someone was like, like one in the replies was like, it seems like I figured out how they're being smuggled into this porn is being smuggled into the country. It's on something called a magnetic VHS tape through something called Suncoast.
Like,
used to be the only place to buy it.
Dragon Ball Z, like, yo, who's looking up Dragon Ball Z hentai? And he not even Dragon Ball Super. This man went to Dragon Ball Z, like, so he didn't even like open up Toonami or something. This man pulled back into the past and be like, "What's an anime I remember? Dragon Ball Z." It's like, cool, man. Like, I don't know if that's what's corrupting today's kids. Like, if I said that I thought Goku could beat somebody in a fight, I'm gonna get hit with "Okay, Boomer" so fast, and I'm not a boomer. Like, come on, man.
But he could.
I normally think Goku could win in a fight because he's overpowered. That's kind of the point. But whatever. Yep. Fuck Superman. No. I think that's everything, right? We had a big old full episode.
Yeah, I'd like to end with a personal bright spot for the week.
Oh,
okay.
If I can.
Do it.
So I play a phone game called Final Fantasy Dissidia Opera Omnia, and they just released the next tier of weapons, and like so that basically ups the difficulty, increases like the power scale and power creep and everything. And so there's all of the gotcha draws for it out for the 2 new weapons. And I was like, man, never going to fucking get these. It's like a 1% chance and a 3% chance to get them. I did one multi-pull of 10 weapons and got both in one pull. And that was my bright spot for the week.
Hell yes. You love a bright spot. It makes me feel so good. Oh, yeah. Damn. I'm glad you brought that up. That's cool.
Yeah, I got real lucky in a gotcha. Good part of the week.
Hey, we're taking the good things when we can.
My one whatchamacall, my one big exciting phone game thing for the week was that I beat every single available level of Pokemon Cafe Mix.
I don't think anybody's playing that game.
Steph clearly is.
No. Well, here's why I say that. They introduced a new thing, called like Cafe Grand Prix or something.
Mm-hmm.
And like when I first logged on, it's like, well, we're waiting for more people to join to rank you. I'm like, what? Like, what do you mean? It's a Pokemon game. They shouldn't have to even think about this. Come on. But alas, I guess there weren't that many people.
Yeah, it's rough, but yeah, it's weird because I mean, like, Pokemon Go still like has millions of people logging on every week, but not so for Pokemon Cafe Mix, which I keep playing obsessively.
I play like once a day, I think, and I want to play it more, but it's like, I just fucking get fucked like every time I play.
And I still get confused every time Leah, the like cafe manager, talks to me because I could not use Steph as my name in this game. I had to call myself John because Steph was inappropriate for this game for some reason.
Steph is always inappropriate for everything.
I am pretty inappropriate.
Got him.
Way. Do you want me to do the social media biz?
Yeah. Let's drive our way out of here.
Cool. Let's
beep
just
beep.
Yeah. Put it in drive.
Get in the cat bus.
Yeah. Right on the magic school bus, right on out of this this episode. So
We're gonna go inside. We're gonna go inside Arnold's body. Let's go.
Yeah. We're gonna go to Pluto, and he's gonna take off his helmet and give everyone trauma.
Mr. Freeze.
When his head freezes. So if you want to find us on the internet, you can find me on Twitter at Captain Stuff, on Tumblr at Snowqueer, on Instagram at HellaStuff. You can find Dom anywhere on the internet at Brother Dom. You can find Eric on Twitter at Tindy Losi. You can find the podcast on the podcast catcher of your choice by searching for Character Reveal. You can find us on Facebook under Character Reveal, on Twitter at Character Rev. You can listen to us in your browser at characterreveal.simplecast.fm. You can find us on Instagram at Character Reveal. And if you want to listen to us on a podcatcher that allows you to do a rate or review, it would be cool if you did that.
Yeah, please do that. And I think we're going to be probably streaming this going forward again to save myself some time and get you all a more consistent product, time wise and all that. So probably Sundays 7:30 Eastern Standard Time. We'll put out announcements and stuff like that and try to keep a schedule. But yeah, come catch us on Twitch. If you don't want a Twitch account, you can still come watch. If you do, feel free to comment. Maybe we'll do viewer questions or whatever. It'll be fun. It'll be interactive. No need to stress. Life's too short for all that. Try to enjoy it. But again, thank you to everyone who keeps listening. People who are new, people who are old. Appreciate all of you. But until next time, see you later.
Have a good night.
Bye.